Episode 16. Food, eating less, and so-called intermittent fasting.
Hello, I'm Danny Cavadlo, and let's talk about food. We can't talk about health and fitness and wellness and all this stuff without talking about food. And you know what? If you ask me, the foods that you eat are the number one most important decision you can make regarding your health. So it deserves to be taken quite seriously.
Hell yeah.
Before we even talk about food in a workout or fitness or wellness capacity, I want to be very clear about one thing. Food is for us to enjoy. There is no joy in life without food and drink. We should approach our eating, our cooking, our loving, and our lives with reckless abandon when it comes to the joyous pursuit of food. It's good to make food with your hands. It's good to touch it. It's good to share it with people you know and care about, people that you love. We all have comfort foods from our youth that make us feel a certain way. Sometimes we tie foods in to our experiences. I've been lucky enough to have had pig brain hot pot in Beijing, raw horse sashimi in Tokyo, and fermented herring in Sweden. I think back to these foods, and I remember the foods. Oh yeah, I remember those pig brains. What I also remember is the experience. So, no matter what our pursuit is in health, wellness, and fitness, we must never foster a negative relationship with food. There are many paths one can take in trying to eat healthy, manage what they eat, be lean, muscular, strong, and still enjoy all those delicious foods that we eat. The ways that I describe are what works for me and many other people that I know. However, there are many paths one can take. There are plenty of people that have gotten lean, shredded, and powerful using methods very different than mine. So to be clear, what I'm saying works based on my observation and common sense. Other things might work for other people too. So I encourage you to experiment and see what works for you.
What did he just say?
There's so many food trends right now that are all about eliminate this, all about eliminate that. Let me tell you something. I don't really trust anything that says don't ever eat this thing ever. If you're telling me never eat fats, I don't believe it. If you're telling me never eat carbs, I don't believe it. If you're telling me never eat meat, I don't believe it. I believe that a healthy diet of foods that are minimally processed are going to be what's best for us. If it comes down to getting lean, something that I recommend is simply eating less. Fill up your plate with veggies, and then add the beans, and then add the meat, and then add the other stuff that you like. How about instead of snacking on a bag of ho-hos, we carry around a bag of apples with us, a bag of carrots, sugar snap peas, not sugar, sugar snap peas. We incorporate more veggies, lean, light, clean foods in our life, and we're going to eat less other crap. Portion control is something that's completely out of hand. If you go to most American restaurants, you're going to be served a big steaming pile of stuff that's more than you need, and it's probably even more than you want. I went to a restaurant with my son yesterday. He ordered his lunch. The waitress asked if he wants all you can eat. I was like, no, we'll take a regular portion. That's just fine. So we got all this crazy stuff in our head. We don't need to have all you can eat at every meal. We need to be realistic about what the body needs and feed it good stuff. Something that's become really trendy in terms of eating less is this trend of intermittent fasting. Now, the way I feel about intermittent fasting may be different than some of the thoughts you've heard about intermittent fasting before. In fact, what I consider to be intermittent fasting may not be the same thing as what many folks out there on YouTube land consider to be intermittent fasting.
Say what?
I think intermittent fasting means this. Sporadically, you go without food and drink. Intermittent means sporadic. Fasting means going an extended period of time without food and or drink. So, when we get into that fasted state, our body's paying attention. Our wits are about us. We're in that energy burning zone. Our body doesn't have time for toxins and disease. So we're in survival mode. We're lean, we're strong, we're clean. I intermittent fast every now and again. Maybe one day a week, I don't eat. Maybe one day a week, I just drink Danny's green juice. And then sometimes I do the carrot mint ginger juice also. Sometimes I intermittent fast. I'll go a week with nothing but juice and water. Now that's intermittent and that's fasting. Something that people are calling intermittent fasting these days means waiting really late in the day to eat their first meal. And that's great. That is being restrictive with food. I mean, think about it. If you're eating between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., well, then that's only 4 hours a day that you're going to eat. If you're eating between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m., well, that's a 16-hour window, so you're going to eat a lot more. So restricting the food window to 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., whatever it might be, restricting that food window is a way of eating less and therefore losing weight because you're not cramming as much crap down. But I will say this, if you're doing it every day, it's not intermittent. And if you're not going at least 24 hours, it's not really a fast. It's simply eating less. So, what is the takeaway? Eat food. Love food. Enjoy food. Celebrate food. What else is the takeaway? If you want to get leaner, you're going to have to make some dietary adjustments. I never measure macronutrients, but I do make sure that I'm eating as many different color fruits and veggies as possible. One way to eat less and consume less calories is to restrict the quantity of food that you're eating on your dinner plate. Another way of restricting the volume of food and calories that you're eating is to restrict that window of time that you are consuming it. But if you want to do a fast, then go at least 24 hours without eating. You'll see what happens over there. I'm Danny Cavado. Let's get strong, let's keep the dream alive, and let's subscribe, motherfucker.